Well, hello. Welcome once again to Pale Blends and Beyond. Thank you for joining us. Patrick Cockett is a Hawaiian-based singer, songwriter, guitarist who first came to my attention as a member of the psych folk duo These Trails, along with Margaret Morgan on vocals, guitar, and dulcimer. Margaret passed away, sadly, in 2004. These Trails released the self-titled Rare album in 1973. Patrick and Margaret did not play live gigs, and there was no follow-up album. Mr. Cockett went on to play with artists like Buffy Sainte-Marie and with Taj Mahal in his Hula Blues Band. Along the way, Patrick has played in the Hawaiian World Folk Band, Pali, and Daphne C's Kauai Project. And we'll do some catching up with our guest to see what he's up to these days. Well, welcome, Patrick.
Hello, Greg.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for the interest in this ancient music now.
Oh yeah, well, good music is going to last, and it's going to find audiences sometimes decades later. But you know, that's the way it is. Well, Patrick, take us back to the beginning. Where were you born?
I was born in Lihue, Kauai.
Okay.
In the 40s.
Okay. All righty. Do you have some fond childhood memories you'd like to share?
Sure. Yeah, like growing up here, my father was a doctor for the plantation.
Okay.
And so my earliest years, we were living in Kealia, across from his clinic. And in those days, Kauai was a sugar plantation.
Okay.
And there was not a large population. I think maybe 30,000 people. You know, you kind of knew everyone by the way they looked, okay? So growing up here, it was amazing in the 50s. It was wonderful. It was great. You know, I went to elementary school, swimming, you know, enjoying this place. And then, so anyway, that's growing up in the 50s was great. When I went away to school, it was a different story.
Well, how far was the beach to you, to where you grew up?
Okay, Leah, I was maybe 5 minutes from the beach. Right now, I'm maybe 5 minutes from the beach.
Okay, good. Really close. All right. Do you remember hearing music being played in the house when you were little?
Oh yeah, my father. We come from a Hawaiian family, okay, and so music is really a part of our culture.
Okay.
So when my father had 6 sisters and 5 brothers, and so when my family came to visit, we were playing music and they were dancing. That's how we enjoyed ourselves.
Wow.
And so, you know, it was Hawaiian music with my aunties. My dad, he couldn't really sing.
Did he?
He was kind of famous for that.
He tried though.
But you know, no, I heard, you know, all that music and all the 50s music.
Yeah.
Like on the radio, you know, like Rosemary Clooney, stuff like that.
Okay.
You know.
Well, your family was a little bit larger than my mom's. My mom came from a family of 9, so you got her beat. Yeah.
Yeah, that's still a big family.
That's still a big thing.
Yeah. And many musicians in my family.
Okay, so there's a gene there.
Well, I don't know about that, but there's music with my relatives. Yeah.
Okay. All right. You mentioned hearing some of the music, and you came from a musical family. How about can you remember one of the first 45s or albums that either someone got for you or that you bought?
Yeah, the one I'm thinking of is Chet Atkins playing Slinky.
Ah, I know that one.
I played that. Oh, by the way, I met him on the Prairie Home Companion. You know, we played when Chet was in the band in Honolulu.
Oh, okay.
So I got to hang out with him.
Oh, like great.
That was, but that was the 45. I just played it. You know.
Yeah. What was he like?
I mentioned that to him, and he didn't think much of the tune. He goes, "Yeah, that was just some, you know."
He just messed around. And
yeah. But for me, it was like, all right, you know. Yeah. So like that, we had 45s. You know, my parents had 78s.
Yeah. I've heard how influential Chet's music is to a lot of artists. Yeah. And just how great of a guitarist he was. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and really nice guy.
Was he?
Really
Okay.
nice guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, talk about some of the bands and music that you were into as a teenager.
I was into what was on the radio. Um, Nothing comes to mind. I mean, I like oh, like Elvis was here. I was into Elvis. I liked Elvis.
Okay.
My father treated him at the Cocoa Palms Hotel. My father was a doctor, right? He did a house called Elvis.
Oh, tell
That's
that
my claim
story.
to fame.
Tell that
Well,
story.
Elvis was here. That's kind of the story. He was making Blue Hawaii, and then my dad would treat tourists, right, at that hotel. And
Mhm.
so they called him in to see Elvis. He goes, yeah, such a nice young man. That was his
Yeah.
response to
Uh,
Elvis.
yeah, that's his story with Elvis, huh? That's right, he
But
did
I
do
was,
that.
I was, all everything that was popular on the
Yeah.
radio, I was listening to.
Okay. Okay. Well, what about the music scene? Was there any kind of music scene going on around you?
I mean, when I was young,
Yeah. Yeah.
or
Yeah. When you were young or a teenager. Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah. I mean, there are lots of Hawaiian music.
Okay.
People playing Hawaiian music at the hotels, and when we get together, people would be playing Hawaiian music. A lot of good musicians on this
Yeah.
island in
Yeah.
the old days, like in Honolulu, some famous Hawaiian musicians
Yeah.
like that, writing songs and like that. So I heard, I was getting the Hawaiian, but I was also getting the pop on the radio
Right.
like
Right.
that.
You're getting a cross pollination of all that
Uh,
kind of activity.
well, Hawaii is the crossroads of the
Yeah.
Pacific, so everybody's coming through. I mean, we have so many different ethnicities living here. Chinese, and Japanese, Filipino.
Yep.
Like that. And so all these cultures blend. And we keep marrying each other, so we're a mix.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it is a good, and then when it all comes out in the music or the art, it's really unique. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, yeah. It's
You're right.
great.
Well, when did you start playing guitar?
When I was a senior in high school,
Mhm.
my friend Kimo Todd had a guitar.
Okay.
I think I was a junior. Maybe I was a junior. Maybe I was a senior. But anyway, he had a guitar, and so we were into the Kingston Trio, right? That's what we were into, playing that song about money, Anyway, so we had a guitar, and then we're learning how to play the guitar, and then we had a group in high school. We had a folk group, and
Okay.
we played gigs like that.
Really? Was
Yeah,
was
it was
that
great.
was that your first band? Was that your first band?
Um, I kind of think so.
Okay. Okay. And you
Yeah.
played live? Where would you play at the school or what other functions or what?
Actually, we got gigs at Punahou, which is another school. We
Mhm.
played at the Waikiki Shell for this
Okay.
event. We played some different places.
Okay.
It was a good experience like that. There were four of us from Kamehameha, and one girl from Punahou,
Okay.
Ming. Yeah, and so we gigged, and that was great. But that was the end of that when I went away to college. Then I got another group when I was in college,
Okay.
Hawaiian Trio, like that.
Okay. All right. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, I went to school in Los Angeles, and there were these two Hawaiians from my high school, also students there. So we all know all the songs. And so we started, we played at Caltech. We started gigging. We started getting gigs again, just playing. That was great. And Kimo is well known as an ukulele player now in the islands. He has, a lot of students, like a really, really great ukulele player, great musician. And so we did that in college. And I think towards the end, what was happening then? Towards the end of my college career, it was like Richard and Mimi Farina.
Yeah.
You know that, like that.
Yeah.
That's Sandy Bull.
Sandy Bull.
Yeah, we play slack key, right? He was playing slack key, but he had a different tuning.
Okay.
But I was listening to him. I have a YouTube channel with all my slack key on it.
Okay, okay. So I was
Yeah.
going to ask you later, but I'll ask you now since you brought that up. What is explain that the slack key? Explain that a little.
Okay. Well, when the guitar first came, I think the Spanish brought it to because they brought them here to round up the cattle because the cattle were eating the houses. When they came, they brought the guitar, but they didn't really know how to tune it, and so they
Okay.
tuned it just the way they wanted to. Keyhole all means you slack the key, you loosen the strings usually.
Oh, okay.
And so then they were making their own tunings, and then they had their own style. Islands in the South Pacific, they play slack key, but they all have different styles and tunings like that. So, like probably Gabby Pahinui is probably the best known slack key artist, worldwide because he had some hits. But there's so much music, in Hawaii going on now, and but slack key was something that we got into. My friend Carlos and I, we were into it, and we knew we were learning the tunings. I went and studied with Auntie Alice, who was like an iconic, slack key player, like that. When she looked at me, I'm trying to play her song. She's looking at me, and I can't play it. I'm really good, and I can't play the simple song because the way she's looking at me,
Yeah.
So slack key, there's books on slack key. George Winston,
Okay.
the piano player,
Yes.
he had a record label devoted to slack key, Dancing Cat.
Okay.
And so he recorded many of the slack key artists.
Okay.
Like,
all right.
He's a good guy.
I hear a bird. Is that a live bird?
Yeah, it's out my window. Let's see if you can.
Okay. All right. I looked here and I didn't see one here, so I knew it had to be on your end. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of birds around here still.
Well, that will add to the ambiance. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Am I still there?
You're still here. Yeah, you're still here.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, then get us a little up to speed. How did you and Margaret meet?
Okay, so Margaret is from Oahu, but her grandfather, H.P. Faya, was in charge of American Factors, which was basically the plantations in Hawaii. So her grandfather had a big house in Waimea, like that. I remember. Anyways, but I met her because she would come from Oahu with her family to stay in Honolulu, which is a beautiful bay, on the north. Have you heard of that?
What is it again?
Bay.
I think
George
so,
Clooney
yeah.
made a movie out there.
Okay, I believe so.
Yeah. So anyway, and my parents had a house out there too. So during the summers, she would come and stay at her grandparents' house, the Fire house. And so I was down the beach. We were young then, and so we just, we hung out. There weren't too many people my age at that time, And so I got to know her, and she had two sisters and a brother. And so it was nice. We spent time surfing, riding the rapids in inner tubes, just, doing that. And so I knew her, and every year she would come and I got to know her. But then, and we were friends. Okay. But then she came back from college one year and she was playing music.
Okay.
And then everything changed. We started playing music.
Okay.
And so we just started playing, and then she was writing. We were doing stuff, and then that's how we connected on the music.
Had she done any singing previously?
Not that I know of. Okay. Not that I know of, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
She has an unusual voice.
Yeah, she does. Really, really unique. Yeah, you're
right.
Yeah.
So I met her, and then she started playing, and then we were living together and playing music later on, and just playing music, because we loved it. And she was writing a lot. Sorry, this thing is a little.
There you go. You're more in the.
She was writing a lot, and so we just started, arranging songs and writing songs. And so we were together. But then this friend of mine from Kamehameha, who was into a music producer, took us to the studio where we recorded the album, Synergia, right? But he was actually doing a demo for someone else, my other friend. But he brought us in and we played a tune for him, for Peter, this guy, Peter Coraggio, the producer of that album. It's crazy Italian classical pianist. Okay, so, but he heard the song and he liked it so much he wanted to do an album.
Okay.
So on the basis of that, we went into the studio. We weren't gigging,
Yeah.
you know. It was just like our original stuff.
Yeah. What are your memories of the recordings? Was that your first time in a studio?
Um, probably,
Yeah. Yeah. Was it
probably.
a little intimidating being in a studio like that?
No. It was a little studio. Caleb
Okay.
Beamer had his studio down the hall. It was in this warehouse building. But so Peter was into ARPs. You know what ARPs are?
Yes, a
They're
synthesizer.
like, yeah, synthesizer, but it was a new thing then,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
You hear
And
it on
so
the
he
out.
wanted to use our music as a vehicle to promote his ARP.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So David Choi, that's why you hear the ARP on most of those tunes.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that. But David Choi did a really nice song. The guy who did the ARPs, he was great, you know. So, but you know, we would practice, and then we would record, and you know, like that. And we had a couple of friends come play. My friend from Uruguay, Carlos Padero, he recorded a song called El Rey Pescador. I think we did
Yeah.
two of his.
Yeah. Right.
And he's still a friend. He's great. He's in Tennessee raising horses.
Is that right?
Television channel. And he's still writing music. Carlos Padero, great,
Okay.
great guy. So he played, and then a couple other friends, Eric Kingsbury, who made my uke, and then it's my friend Jeff played one of his tunes, and that kind of was it, like that. So, but we were in the studio, and it was great. You know,
Okay.
it was.
Was it mainly done live, or were there some overdubs?
I don't remember. Oh, well, you know, we were using this big tape, right,
Mhm.
to record, like
Uh,
one of those machines, you know, like big rolls of tape. I can't remember about overdubbing or not. Probably there was, but not the way we do it now,
okay. Right.
like that.
Right.
But we were rehearsed, and we were getting tapes.
Well, how
That
many?
was really interesting. Yeah.
Okay, I was just going to ask how many copies were originally released? You remember?
No, but not that many.
Okay.
Maybe 2,000.
Okay. All right.
I remember riding around in my car with a box full of albums, giving them away.
Yeah.
Like that. But then, you know, later on, an original was valuable.
Uh-huh.
It had some monetary value, the originals.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that something? Yeah. Well,
Yeah. So, you know, but then you know, nothing happened after it was released.
yeah. Yeah.
But then later on, Peter told me, he goes, "Oh, there's an interest in your album." So he says, "I'm producing CDs. I'm releasing CDs." And so I said, "Okay, you know, that's great." And so he put out some CDs.
Uh-huh.
I never made any money off this album, but I didn't care. It was about the music, you know. And then he died.
Oh.
And so then they were releasing bootleg CDs. Somebody was releasing bootleg CDs, right?
Okay.
And that was happening. And then this company called Drag City got in touch with me. Margaret was dead. You know, she died. It was only me.
Okay.
Right. And so I did a deal with them to release the album. It was the vinyl and CDs, and they're releasing it to this day on Drag City. So, but it's funny. I was in a record store in Hilo, and I'm buying something. I give him my name. He goes, "Oh, he knew my name from these trails." Only happened once in my life, you know. That was funny.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. That's a question I ask sometimes. Is this the strangest place somebody recognized you?
Yeah. No, it's great. It's right, you know.
Yeah. Well, see, it just goes to show, you know. I mean, the good music is going to travel, sometimes through time, and people are going to pick up on it. But did it surprise you when you first started hearing about that? You know, people, the interest in it after all that time.
Well, you know, through the years, I was getting calls from people just
Okay.
because they loved it. You know, someone like got my number, they call me. You know, I talk to them. But I think Drag City. I think Drag City was when I started doing interviews. People started doing interviews with me about the album over the last maybe 10 years or something. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I got a lot of different responses, you know, about the music
Yeah.
and the songs.
Yeah.
But you know, the thing is, we recorded Margaret's most acceptable music. She had some great songs, but they were out there.
Okay.
You know, but those are the ones I really liked.
Yeah.
But we thought, oh, we should do some kind of more regular stuff, you know.
Well, let me. I just wanted to mention a few of the tracks that I enjoy and get your take, if you would.
Yeah, sure. I even pulled out my CD.
There you go. Now let me ask you: are those your feet on the cover?
Okay, these feet belong to Boogie Kalama,
Oh,
a
okay,
good
somebody else.
Hawaiian musician, sailed on the Hokulea, really good friend of mine. Played music with him too. Boogie, we took him up in the Nu'uanu forest and photographed his feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that started his career in foot modeling, right? After that.
Yeah, really took off.
You know, you hear about that. There are models that do that, hand models and
Yeah.
You know,
Well, his feet are pretty, you know, blala feet, Hawaiian feet, wide.
Right, right. Well,
Close to the earth.
there you go. Well, Margaret does have a lovely voice, you know, very unique, what we talked about. And her voice floats over the notes. That's what I like. It's like that, ha, 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 ha.
Yeah. She's
Yeah, very unique like that. A little bit, and this has been written about her too, a little reminiscent of Joni Mitchell, of course. But
and there was
also,
someone else they compared it to. Yeah.
well, I'll tell you one that this artist came years later, but Kate Bush. You know who Kate Bush is?
I'm not familiar with her though. I know her name.
Okay, she's an English musician. The late 70s, she came. So this was years after this, but she has that kind of high pitch, that almost not soprano, but very high pitched voice. Of course, your voice is nice as well. I mean, I'm not just going to focus on on Margaret's, and y'all harmonize well together. There's good harmonies.
We
And
liked playing music together. It was,
yeah,
you know, it was enjoyable.
it came across in the music, in the songs. Very good production, I got to say, on the album. Very clear
Mhm.
sound, very clear.
Yeah,
Uh,
it is.
yeah,
They had it together.
yeah, yeah. And then I wanted to a few of the tracks. Our House and Hanalei.
Right.
Hanalei. Yeah. I like the tempo and the guitar work and the Hawaiian flavor on that track.
Yeah. Her pidgin. This is Howley pidgin. Hawaiians don't speak pidgin like that, so it was kind of more of a novelty
Okay.
song, you know. But it really cute.
Yes.
Really cute. In fact, this guy Jack DeMello, who's a big Hawaiian producer, he heard that and he wanted us to make an album for him.
Uh-huh.
It was funny. I said, Jack, you know, that's the only one we got. So it didn't go anywhere, but you know.
You did. Okay, after that. El Rey, you mentioned this one, El Rey Pescador.
That's Carlos Padero.
Okay.
Yeah, the
Okay.
king of the fishermen.
Yes. I know a little Spanish. I took it for a couple of years.
So there's sitar on that, right? There's some sitar.
I like
I
that.
think there's some tabla on
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, he's wonderful guy. In fact, he's coming in October. I'm going to get together with him.
Oh, are you? Oh, great.
Yeah,
Great.
I'm still in touch. In fact, when last time he was here, he was over for dinner. We play music, you know.
I was going to ask you, are you guys have any plans to record things together or put anything out?
With Carlos, no, but I have a lot of tunes I'm working on actually with a friend who's adding. He has like a movie suite, so he's adding instrumentation, but really not like that. I can send you a copy of one that he. Did I send you a copy of that? I didn't send you any music, right?
No, you didn't send me.
Oh yeah, I'll send you that track. That's the only track he's done so far. But so I have these songs I've been writing. The last 10 years, I've been traveling to Bali. I've been going to Bali to surf, and so I just been writing music. You know, when I'm traveling.
Indonesia, Bali, and
Yeah,
Indonesia. Oh,
yeah.
wow. That's so wild because my wife is from Indonesia. Wow.
Where?
Okay.
What island?
Jakarta. She's from Jakarta.
Jakarta. Yeah, I was in Sanur.
Okay. Yeah. We went to Bali one time I was over there. Been many years ago, but we went there. Yeah. Yeah. Very nice. Very nice.
Great surf and wonderful people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really nice. Yeah.
Yes, they are. They are. I have fond memories of that. Well, another track, the instrumental Psych 1 and Psych 2. A lot has been written.
Those are two different takes, by the way, of that song.
Yes,
it's
they
not
are.
the Psych 1 with instrumentation. It's a different take.
Yes,
right?
it is. I prefer Psych 2 a little more, slightly better. And is that the ARP in that one? In Psych
That's
2?
the ARP. Yeah, it's great. Isn't it great?
Okay, it is. You know what
Yeah.
it reminds me of? And I don't know if you've heard this before, but it reminds me of Bread, the band Bread.
I'm not too familiar. I know who they are, but I'm not too familiar with them.
Go back, listen to some Bread with David Gates. And it one of their mellower tracks, of course they had a lot of mellow tracks, but I expect in parts of that song to hear David Gates start singing any second.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. There's something about that ARP in there, and it's a couple of
So
their,
like,
Go ahead.
Psyche 1 is we're both in slack key. That's a slack key piece.
Okay.
It's not regular tuning.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's more open.
Yeah, more open. In fact, Margaret, she did a lot of songs in her own tunings like that. She would make them up. I have this one song I want to record that I love, and it's in this bizarre tuning. And so I'm trying to get it together to record it, but it's different, And she was like that. I mean, she really was deep. That's all I can say. She went deep into music, But if you would see her and hang with her, she was just kind of, just normal, kind of zany.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when you hear her music, it's just like, and her poetry, she's deep.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you can definitely hear that coming out in her sound and her singing and
Yeah.
Well, I think my favorite track on the whole album is Hello Lou.
My friend Jeff Fitzsimmons wrote that.
Okay. Okay.
And he became a devotee of the Free John, or he became the Heart Master Adi Da, this guy, Jeff. He went to live on his island or something. But way before that, we were playing music, right? And this one, Hello Lou's in a tuning too, but it's a different slack key tuning than we use on the album. Great song, I think. And see, the guy who made my uke, Eric Kingsbury, he plays the second guitar. And like that. Yeah, I like that. And there's a really nice ARP, background.
Right. Like that's utilized really well throughout the album, I think. It's not overused. It's just enough, just right.
Yeah, David was really eclectic. He did like Beijing opera. He did a lot of different stuff. He played in a pop group. In fact, I think he played at my brother's wedding.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, Hello Lou is gorgeous.
Yeah. I mean,
But it's normally not a favorite,
Is that right?
Yeah, you look at the downloads, it's low.
It's low.
Margaret is big.
But
that one is low.
Really?
But I love it. Great song.
Yeah. I guess it just shows my taste. It's not always in with the mainstream with the main. So and then the last one I want to mention was Rusty's House and Lost in Space.
Right.
I like the whole way through. I like another quality two songs together like that. I like that.
That song is the reason we got this album. That was the one we played.
Oh, okay.
Peter. Right.
All right.
And actually the second song should be Lost in Space because it's about my friend Carlos.
Oh.
That was a typo.
Is that right?
Yeah, so it's about Carlos, and he loved canoes. He dreamed of canoes. He built his own canoe. He sailed on the Hokulea. He became a professor and taught us, navigation.
Oh, okay. See, when I started listening to that, I thought, is this the theme from that show, Lost in Space? Remember?
Yeah. That was a mistake. But again, really nice synthesizer.
Yeah, nice one.
And this guy Rusty, He was a famous surfer. Like big wave surfer. I surfed with him in Honolulu. Big waves. You know, he liked to ride big waves. And he lived in Haiena, which is way out in the sticks. And so to get to his house, we had to park on the main street and walk down this path along the stream for a ways, and then he would come through his old house, you know, sitting there. That was Rusty's house.
The Rusty's
In fact,
house.
he's still going. He's 80 now. He's in Australia. I just saw some video of him surfing.
And he's still surfing.
Yeah, Byron Bay.
Wow.
I'm 76. I'm still surfing.
I was going to ask you about that. Okay. All right.
That's my main thing, actually.
Okay. Yeah, there was a reference. I forget what it was. I think it was in the video you did for Daphne or her Kauai Project. Yeah, there was something about you. Yeah, I'll take time away from surfing. You know.
Well, there was no surf. It was a thing.
Okay.
There was no surf. I'm surprised you went deep. I'm surprised you saw that.
Yeah. I like to research a little bit.
I enjoyed recording with Daphne.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that in just a bit, but I wanted to ask you about why did you and Margaret not play live gigs?
Well, we didn't get any offers, was one thing.
Okay.
And I think okay, so we're making the album, right? We recorded all of Margaret's stuff, and my stuff, and that's down, and then we're working on the synthesizer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're living together up in Kalihi Valley. Okay. And so I come home one day and she's gone. She leaves a note. You know, she went back to school. Her mother got to her. And so she left. Okay. And that's the reason we never gigged. That kind of was the end of us, actually, when she left.
Okay.
Like that, I finished the album with David. We mixed it. We were smoking a lot of Elephant at that time. I don't know if it's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why we never did live gigs. Okay. Yeah.
Then that would explain why you didn't make a follow-up album too.
Oh yeah, she was you know, somewhere else at that time. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think I was playing with Carlos by then.
Okay.
With Pali. Yeah.
Okay.
But she died of lupus. It killed her.
Okay.
And it was genetically in her family. Like her aunt had it.
Yeah. Wow.
But the reason it killed her is because she didn't follow the doctor's instructions.
Okay.
She tried to new age it and it didn't work. You know, I went to visit her in the hospital. I thought she was dying. She was like on an intubator. She was, you know, like that. I thought that was it, but she came back out of that. But I wasn't really in much touch with her at that time.
Wow. How does that work? Did you see any signs early on or anything like that?
Of the lupus?
Yeah.
No, but she told me about it when it was starting to happen.
Okay.
Like that.
All right. I don't know that much about it, you know. Tell you
yeah. It's like your immune system is attacking itself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So she was pretty young when she passed then.
Yeah. It was a while ago.
2004. Yeah.
I have trouble remembering when something happened. It was like, was it before the hurricane or after the hurricane? Yeah. You know, she died before the hurricane.
Okay. All right. Well, you know, you mentioned some of the great musicians there and that Hawaii has produced. During the 70s, were you familiar with, there's a couple that I picked up on and I bought CDs by. Were you familiar with Cecilio and Capono?
Yeah, C&K, they were really popular. Yeah, I like this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a Hawaiian Renaissance at that time in the 70s. It was going on.
Right.
Like that. That's when Margaret and I were recording that.
That's what I thought. It would be around the same time. Yeah. There's one track. I have another YouTube channel. I mean, I have this one that I post the interviews, but I have one where I just post music from artists, you know. And I posted one, 50 cents a song. Are you familiar with that one? By Cecilio and Capono. It's about them busking. And it's like, will you at least pay me 50 cents for a song? You know.
No, I'm not familiar with that. I don't know that.
It's a really heartbreaking song. It's really almost like begging, people to pay, help. And how about Kalapana?
Yeah, in fact, Mackie Fury,
Uh-huh.
one of the one of the leaders of Kalapana, I knew him when he was in high school. When I
Okay.
was staying up in Kalihi Valley with Margaret, where we were sharing a house with this other kid who played music, and Mackie used to come over. Mackie was a senior in high school. And so I got to know him, then before Kalapana started. We were friends, great musician.
Yeah.
Really great guy. He killed himself.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah. What a tragedy.
I like their song Naturally. I like that.
Yeah, and Milani Bilyeu, he was also great,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, those are also. How about the Brothers Casimiro? Are you familiar with them?
That's another one. That's another,
Yeah, I mean, I love those guys.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Nice music, yeah. Well, we'll talk a little bit about Pali.
Okay, so Nepali was really me and my friend Carlos Andrade. We both went to Kamehameha, right, a school for Hawaiian boys, or for Hawaiian children. We were at the boys' school. And Carlos was 2 years ahead of me, right? Okay. And so it was a military school.
All right.
And so Carlos was an officer, right? He used to give me demerits for dirty brass just to bug me. Carlos, And so that was, and plus he was a surfer. And so we surfed, that's how I got to know him. And then he came back, I came back from college, he came back, and we both had been psychedelicized, And so, then we just started playing music. We started playing music, and because we like playing it. And then we got a gig. We got a gig playing at a luau, and then we got another gig at this hotel. We just started getting gigs. And so we got better and better like that. And then, we added a bass player, Pancho Graham, and then we added our steel player, Fred Lunt. Okay. And so we had a quartet. And that's a Hawaiian quartet, just like the Sons of Hawaii, bass, guitar, steel, and ukulele. Okay. That's what we had.
Right.
So our steel but we had the steel player, and he had money. So he wanted to produce an album. We called it a monument to his steel. Okay. We'd be mixing, he go, you need to turn my steel up a little bit. I'm going, right, So then we got that first album, and it was Pacific Tunings. Yeah, and it had some great songs on it, like Nepali Outlaw. That's just a wonderful song. That's a great song. About Ko'olau the leper, So all of Nepali songs are grounded here, on the island. Like I wrote some, he wrote some, and it's all about, our experiences here. Yeah. Great, So that was the first album. And then I think we did the second one 18 years later.
Yeah, 2005.
Yeah. And so the second album is a little more produced, like that. Yeah. Have you heard it? Yeah. What's it called? It's called Nepali, right?
Yeah, it's just self-titled Nepali.
Yeah. So it's different. Like George Winston is playing piano on it, like that. Yeah. It's interesting. But I kind of like Pacific Tunings better, just because that was our sound. Right. That was our raw sound, like that.
Sometimes the raw sound is like you said, is better, than the.
Yeah, I like it. And really, so then, we played at some, we did the Prairie Home Companion a couple of times, I think 2 times, when they came to Oahu, like that. That's where we met Chet, right?
Yeah.
And Johnny Gimbel was on there too.
Yeah.
And so we were known, and we wrote a hit. We wrote a song called Moonlight Lady, which was a huge hit.
Right. Talk about that.
Yeah. So we wrote it, but Gabby put it out first, right? And Gabby's son Blah did it, and Blah learned it from Carlos, right? So, and Blah, he did a great job. It was great. Ry Cooder is playing on it.
Oh, yeah, like Ry Cooder.
Yeah, you should listen to what he did with Gabby. He was really good. But then we released the song too. And it's great. Even our version is great, you know. And I'm still getting royalties for that
Oh,
song. It was such a huge hit
yeah, yeah.
like that.
It's,
And
it's had
so
a
that
lot
was
of,
Nepali. You know, we Carlos and I were gigging at a hotel, and then I kind of quit. So we stopped playing for a while. And then we ended up ended up doing gigs at this festival on the North Shore at Waipawa. That was at the end. That was what we were doing. We were doing that, you know. And then Carlos passed. He passed this year.
just this year, huh?
Yeah, and so Pancho and I, the bass player, we were at his deathbed, rearranging one of his songs, getting the lyrics to one of his songs right. He's lying. He can't move, but he's you know, he's lucid. So we're doing that, you know. And then he goes, thanks. You know, he just rolled over, and he didn't talk again until he passed 5 days later.
Okay.
Carlos. He was, God, he wrote some great songs, really, really great songs. And that was Nepali.
Okay. Wow. Are there any songs in the vaults maybe that haven't been released that?
From Nepali?
Yeah.
Some
demos.
I don't think. Oh well, you know, Carlos made a 45 with Boogie Kalama, the guys whose feet are on the CD at Synergia.
Okay.
In fact, that was a heavy session. So this is a session that Ron Rocha produced, my old friend, but they were using Synergia. And so Carlos is there, Boogie's there, Buffy Sainte-Marie is there. Her husband Dwayne is rolling in the recording room.
Yeah.
And so they recorded 2 songs. And so there's that 45. But most of them are poor quality. I think I have one I might be able to send you a dub of if you like.
Yeah.
You know,
maybe they could be
one
remastered.
side is
Maybe,
what's that?
Maybe they could be remastered. Maybe.
I don't know if it's worth it, but it'd be interesting to hear.
Yeah.
Okay, so so that's one kind of in the vault. Margaret, the thing about Margaret is we had these other songs of hers on recorded, but they didn't make the album, right?
Right.
But when Peter died, we lost all access to that. I talked to his current wife, and she wanted nothing to do with it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so all of that is gone.
Okay. That's too bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you know,
so that kind of was Nepali, you know, and we did some nice stuff, you know, on Nepali, and really a part of this island, I think, you know, drawing from the soil in our experiences.
Well, it's what you know, like you said, it's written about your experiences, and
for sure.
It's what's near and dear to you, you know. It's, of course.
Yeah.
Well,
so that was Nepali.
I want to mention, because you mentioned in the band the ukulele. You said ukulele. Ukulele. That's the right pronunciation.
It should be ukulele.
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 Lele. L-E-L-E. Lele.
Lele.
So uku is a flea. Uku is the flea, and lele is dancing. So they thought that people playing the ukulele was like a dancing flea.
Ah, okay.
That's how it got its name. Yeah.
Are you aware? I've done so many of these interviews with UK musicians. Are you aware that a lot of them started playing with the ukulele?
Yeah, because it's so easy. I started playing the ukulele. You know, it's small.
Right.
Only 4 strings. And you can, and Hawaiian kids, they're walking around playing the uke. Like we say uke, but ukulele. We call it uke, but ukulele.
Yeah. And I think it was a lot cheaper, you know, than a guitar. And a lot of people couldn't even get a guitar, have access to guitar.
Yeah, really good way to start. That's how I started. You know, just playing the uke.
Yeah. There you go. Well, talk a little bit about when did Taj Mahal come into your orbit?
Taj, well, you know, I was familiar with him when I was in college because he was in LA gigging, you know, and I was familiar with his music.
Yeah.
Okay. In fact, Carlos and I did a couple of his tunes. What did we do? forget. Anyway, we're doing some of his tunes. And then Taj moved to Kauai.
Yeah.
He moved to Kauai with his family.
Yeah.
And so he moved here and he was getting windsurf. His wife, Inshira, was getting windsurf lessons from Carlos's wife, Miley. And so that was the connection, right? And then Carlos met Taj, and Taj discovered Carlos was a musician, right? And then he discovered what we were doing. So then we started playing with him, you know.
Okay.
It was nice, yeah. It was fun. And he really liked what we were doing. In fact, he recorded Moonlight Lady.
Okay.
On one of his CDs. But so we were doing that and playing, and then we played some stuff with him here, some show, just some simple, easy shows, you know. But then he goes, "Oh, you know, I want to take you guys to Maui to play at Casanova's, this nightclub." Too much, you know. And we were really, yeah. And so we practiced a lot. You know, he brought his drummer Kester, and he brought Ben Harper.
Oh, okay.
Ben was like 19 maybe.
I was gonna say
play with us. We had, he was really, he stayed with me, really nice guy, can really play. He could play, you know. And so he was there playing. He had these Koa Weizenboards he was playing. And he had 3 or 4. He didn't travel with one, he had 3 or 4, like that. And so he was playing, and then Fred, there was 2 steels, which was really interesting, you know. And so we're playing this nice nightclub up in Makawao. So that was kind of our first gig with Taj, you know, real gig. And then he goes, "Oh, you know, I'm going to take you guys to tour Europe. No, I'm going to take you guys to Australia. We're going to do the Byron Bay Blues Festival."
Wow.
So he took us to Australia, and we did the Byron Bay Blues Festival. We're sitting there with, you know, there's all these luminaries there. I'm trying to remember the name of this one guy. Anyway, there are a lot of people there. And so that was a great experience. And we played Sydney.
Wow.
We played the Basement in Sydney. We played Melbourne. We opened for Angelique Kidjo.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
She's cute. And so, you know, so we did that. And then that was just before the 2000.
Okay. Was that your first time out of the States?
No.
Okay.
No, I traveled. My mom was from Illinois, so I traveled to the Midwest to her, you know, her family.
No, I mean out of the United States. Was that your
out of the U.S.?
Yeah, to another country. Yeah.
I can't remember.
Okay.
But that was the beginning of us traveling.
Okay. All right.
And then we went to Europe. We did 4 years in Europe touring.
All right.
Yeah, like that was great. I think there's a couple of CDs that came out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what was our last gig? I can't even remember. maybe it was, we played at this festival with Taj. At that point, he was having trouble walking.
Okay.
But I think that was the last time we played, I think. Although I'm in touch with him.
Any memories of Europe? Any memories of playing in Europe? Any special memories? No?
Yeah. There were a lot of different, you know, 4 years. Yeah. There was just a lot going on. Like with David Lindley. We're in Berlin. We're playing the Quasimodo.
Okay. And
David Lindley's there. You know who he is?
Yes, I know who
He's a great instrumentalist, right? So he was there, and that was cool. You know, everybody loved Taj, so all these musicians would always come, you know, to hang out with him and stuff like that. He's still going. He's 80 now.
Yeah, he is up there. Right, you're right. Did you notice any difference in the audiences over there than here, than when you played in?
Well, like Germany, people are really, really reserved until they get drunk. So we would start off the set and they're reserved, and by the end of the night they're like drunk. You know, that's Germany.
Okay. Did you play Holland? Did you play in Holland?
Oh yeah, we played. What is that? Club Paradiso.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that. I've heard about that.
Yeah, in the Netherlands, right?
Yeah,
in Amsterdam. And
Yeah.
so that was great. That was a great, and Amsterdam is too much. They have all these coffee shops, right? You can
Uh-huh.
buy Pakalolo just over the counter.
Uh-huh. Right.
So good. That was plus, Amsterdam is an adult city. So we played a few places in the Netherlands.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that. But Amsterdam, their museums are just killer. So that was a good gig.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we had this really good gig in Bern. We played this club, that's famous club outside, but the food was unreal. It's like that was I remember that downstairs. It was great.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I've heard about. How about the Asian? Did you get to play Japan at all? Over.
We were supposed to, but we didn't. It didn't happen. Taj did it with somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Australia was the only Asian place we played.
We're in that area. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It was more Europe. Spain was really nice. And we played Montreux.
Oh, Montreux
The
Festival.
jazz festival in
Yeah.
2000. In 2000. That
Uh-huh.
was the beginning of our tour to Europe, was Montreux.
Okay.
And so we were totally jet lagged. We flew from Hawaii, straight from Hawaii.
Uh-huh.
And we're on I think Lake Geneva or something. That's where they have the festival. But just being there was just like, wow.
Yeah.
It was just
What
it was wild. And so we're playing, and there's a tape of that, but it hasn't been released. We're playing, and there's this pan band from Trinidad that knows some of our songs.
Uh-huh.
So they came on and played with us.
Uh-huh.
Like
Yeah.
the drum. That was cool. That was very cool. Yeah.
Jamming with you. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you've had some very interesting experiences for sure.
Yeah, actually, I was lucky, because really, we were just his friends. We weren't that good.
Yeah.
I had people come up to us after one gig going, "What do you really do? Are you a doctor?" Like that,
Right.
So like the ukulele section was a little ragged. There were three of us, but I kind of was the only one who knew all the songs.
Okay.
But Taj didn't care because we were his
Yeah.
friends.
Right. Right.
He didn't care.
Yeah.
We just got on his bus and we just went,
Uh-huh.
to do that.
That was what he was wanting in that time in his life. He was looking for that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what about Daphne C's Kauai Project?
I really enjoyed working on that. And there's a lot of things that I like that she did. I spent some time working on that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some stuff I really like that.
And you don't remember what part of Texas she's from? It didn't come to you?
I'll find out and tell you. But
Okay.
but I can't remember. But it's I don't think it's Austin.
Okay.
But we played Austin.
When did you play Austin? When was that?
When we were touring the U.S., maybe
Uh-huh.
2005.
Okay.
Or something.
All right.
Yeah, we played New Orleans.
Yeah.
Like that.
But that
played
was
the House of Blues in New Orleans.
Uh-huh.
We played a lot of House of Blues, Chicago,
Uh-huh.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
We traveled around. It was cool.
You didn't come to
Really?
Dallas. You didn't come to Dallas.
We played Dallas.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, but I remember all the oil buildings right downtown,
Uh-huh.
right? All those skyscrapers. That's where Chevron is, right? Dallas.
Okay.
I think so. And so yeah, we played. I remember our gig. We had, and so our steel player had atrial fibrillation, right? So I get to the gig, and we're on stage. We're ready to start. All the chairs are there, and Fred's chair is empty. I go, "Where's Fred?" They go, "He's at the emergency room, getting shocked, getting his heart shocked back into normal rhythm."
Really? Wow.
That would happen sometimes with him. Yeah.
Really? So you guys didn't freak out though? You just like, okay.
No, we knew that he was doing that would
Yeah.
happen.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Austin's a great music town. Yeah.
Yeah, really, yeah. In fact, when we were there, we heard we were eating at some restaurant that had a concert down below. Oh, Government Mule was playing when we were having dinner.
Oh, all right. All right. All right. Yep.
Yeah. And but we played at One World or something. We played at this there's a place. It's like an auditorium for music. We didn't play a club. Um,
Did you play during South by Southwest? Have you ever been there during South by
no,
Southwest?
no, I've heard of that, but no,
Yeah.
it wasn't South by Southwest. We were just
That's like,
moving through.
yeah, that's like during March, I believe, every year.
Yeah.
They
But
have
I'm
people-
familiar with. I've seen a lot of video from that.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. Yeah, well, what would you like to talk about anything going on now? Any thing on the horizon for you?
For me,
Yeah.
well, musically, I have I have these songs which I'm going to. My friend is going to just put some makeup on them,
Okay.
and then I'll probably release it on CD Baby. Like I'll send you one.
Okay.
And you can hear what I'm doing. I'm doing that, but I'm also, I'm living on Kauai, and I'm prepping for the apocalypse.
Yeah, that's what you said when you first spoke to me. Yeah, or when we
That's
first.
what I'm doing, like,
Yeah.
because I'm following it,
Yeah.
and it's now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not a generation away.
Right.
It's now. You look at everything happening around the world.
All the signs are there. Yeah.
Yeah, and I wish Biden would stop drilling. You know what I mean?
Right.
Stop already.
Yeah. Yeah.
How about not offending you, man from Texas?
No, no, not at all. I'm not very
Okay.
political, so no,
Yeah.
no. I think what we need is, I'll probably cut this out, but we need a revolution. It's what we need. And
Yeah, well, I'm on Twitter, just following it,
yeah,
and it's moving in that direction.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
But it's kind of already almost too late.
Right.
From what I see, a lot of it's baked in already. It's going to happen no matter what we do.
Right, right.
And
I
so,
think the old guard has let us down for too long, and it's
yeah,
just-
I agree with you.
yeah,
And so, I have grandchildren, 15 and 11, and so they're not going to be able to live out a normal life.
yeah, right.
I mean,
see, that's what I'm afraid of. My son is 17. He's
yeah,
gonna
it's the same.
Right, he's going to graduate this year from high school. And what kind of future is there? Yeah, that's kind of
Yeah, and so don't these fossil fuel guys have children? It's like, what?
right.
Yeah, I'm doing water catchment. I
Yeah.
got freeze food. I'm growing my food. Like Hawaii is a good place to be. Our only problem is hurricanes.
Right.
And I guess wildfires now.
Yeah, now wildfire.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, hopefully you guys won't have another one for a long time. I hope.
it's hard to say. But given the conditions, it's getting hotter and hotter.
Yeah. Oh man, tell me about it. Have you guys? I mean, I guess with the global warming and all that, have you guys seen a lot of catastrophic? Well, you've seen that, but I mean, like the things we get tornadoes and that kind of stuff, and it's happening later and later in the season. It used to be in the springtime.
Right.
Happening all year, in the winter. It's just weird.
It's just gonna get worse, Greg. It's just gonna get worse.
Yeah. I believe it.
I mean, I'm on the. In fact, I'm working for Cornel West. I want to get him on the ballot. I don't think he'll win, but he's the only one that tells the truth.
Right.
Like that.
We're winding down.
Okay.
Talk about the surfing. Did you start doing that when you were young?
Yeah, I started surfing when I was first when you're a kid, you body surf. Then you get a little paddle board to ride waves with, And then, body surfing is great. And I was body surfing. Then when I went to Kamehameha, before I started learning how to surf, my friends took me. And then after I learned how to surf, that was it. That was my preoccupation.
You were hooked. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I spent the last 10 years surfing Bali.
Yeah. That is so cool because again, my wife being from over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they have good waves out there. Good surfing.
Yeah. I might have enough. So you want to scenic view? I might have enough to walk over there. Okay?
Yeah. Let's try it. We can. Oh man, that's beautiful.
It's my backyard.
That's your backyard. That's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Wow. That's what I think of when I think of Hawaii. Right there. That's what I think of. Yeah.
This is a view most people don't see because my house is on the edge of this valley. And so people don't see this view.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gorgeous here.
Yeah. All right. Well, anything you'd like to add, Pat?
Yeah, I want to wish you guys good luck in Texas, man.
Okay.
I want to wish you some, the best. My daughter's in Corpus Christi.
Yes. Right. Yeah.
But I'm happy, it's nice to revisit those old memories, because I don't think about that too much.
Right. Yeah, it is. And it's a good thing for me too. It's rewarding for me because I get to see you guys reliving those. And then once we get some of the comments, people watching the interviews, that's also rewarding, to see that making that connection. And in some small way, reliving the memories, and connecting with maybe a younger audience and bridging that gap, a little bit. So it's nice. It's nice, and it's always great. It's always nice to be, appreciated, whether it takes years and decades to happen, right?
Really, doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're right. And it's
that person in Hilo who knew my name. That was it.
See, and I think you would agree with this. It's never really about the money. It's about the making that connection with the listener and the fans, and sharing.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be a bonus, if you became real wealthy off of it. But it's more of the music.
No, I really love doing it.
Yeah.
So all my friends are dying.
See, that's the thing. I know. I have to since I'm going back because the prime era that I enjoyed was the late 60s and early 70s music. So
that's when I was in college. I went to all those acid tests.
Yeah.
Graham Nash lived on Kauai.
Yeah.
For a while. Yeah.
See?
Nice guy.
So I have to, hurry up and get these going and do as many as I can before they pass away.
Well, actually, that's probably true.
So
no, it's valuable. All of this is really valuable.
Yes, it is. It is, and you're going to find, again, people that watch it and that were fans before, are going to reconnect. And they're going to have fond memories of, oh, yeah, I remember when I heard you the first time or when I heard that album, that kind of stuff, it's always the memories start flooding back, so it's a nice thing. So,
yeah. I think what you're doing is great.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it, Pat. And, otherwise, just keep pressing on, as they say, and make sure, you have enough food there and enough.
I got major freeze-dried food. Major.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah, and on my garden, I'm growing.
Okay. Be self-sufficient. There you go. That's right.
Yeah. So I might say the same to you.
Yeah. I'm going to get together with my wife and we need to start planning, right?
She should be good at that. She should be good at that.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. Oh man, the food, she's a great cook. I mean, I wouldn't just say that, but those Asians, they know how to cook. So
And it's healthy.
yeah, that's true. That's true. You're right about that. So all right.
Yeah.
Well,
So when you air the interview,
yeah.
just send me a note, and
Oh
then.
man, I'll send you a link. I will send you a
Oh,
link.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
then you can post it on your social media.
Yeah.
And
Great.
and let everybody know. That's what I do. Yeah.
Okay.
And then that way they can go, have direct access once they go on your Facebook or your website, whatever, then they can see it right there. So
Okay. Great. And
yep.
as I get songs recorded and treated, I'll send you dubs. Just
Oh yeah, that would be great, man.
yeah.
I would appreciate
I'm not trying to make money.
that. Yeah.
I just want to get it
Like I said, it's not really about that, right, anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. All right. Well, I will let you go.
Okay. So anyway, it's been great, and
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Pat. And
stay in
yeah,
touch. I'll keep looking for your interviews now.
yes, I will. And yeah, check out my site with the other interviews. Whenever you have time, that's fine.
Okay.
And definitely, I will get it edited and get it over to you, the link and stuff. So see what kind of reaction we get. Right?
We'll see.
All right. Well,
Okay. So
you take care, Pat. All right.
you too. Aloha nui.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I would say it, but I would mispronounce it. So,
Okay. Okay.
all right. All the best to
Okay.
you.
Great. All the best to you, man.